In this video, we are going to be looking at this cheap Amazon bike stand. And by the end of this video, you will know if a cheap bike stand from Amazon is worth it or if it's not. Now, considering you can pay hundreds of pounds for these bike stands, and I'm not kidding, hundreds and hundreds of pounds, this at £27 was super cheap. That's an absolute bargain when you look at it like that. However, I've had it 2 years and I'm going to show you some stuff that might change your opinion and make you spend a bit more on a bike maintenance stand. I have looked on Amazon as well. There is various mixed reviews on Amazon. Some say it's the best thing since sliced bread, some say it's absolute cheap rubbish, and I'm going to give you my opinion. So let's get into it. First things first, the bike stand has a tool tray, which is pretty handy. This is where you just put parts on. It's pretty small though, to be honest. It does have a little magnetic strip, which is very handy when you put bolts on it. So I guess that is a win. It does have a twist clamp though, which is a little bit annoying. You have to twist it to do it up. It would be better if this was like a clamp, just like a lockdown, something like this. But you know, it does a job. It just means you've got to hold the bike up when you are putting the clamp on. It did come with a handlebar stay as well, which means that it can kind of keep your handlebars in line so they don't just like flop to one side essentially. But I ended up not really using this. It was more hassle than it was worth. So although it seems good, I never really used it, but maybe it works for you. Now this stand can go up to a height of 1.68 meters, so that's pretty damn high, and the minimum height I believe is 1 meter. So you got quite good range there, I guess, depending on what maintenance tasks you were doing and what you're using this cheap bike stand for. Lastly, the stand weight is 7.5 kilos, so a little bit weighty. I wouldn't really say it was portable. I mean, a lot of these stands that you see on Amazon, these cheap bike stands, they're not designed to be portable. They're designed just to be in your house and used as and when on a sort of ad hoc basis. So that is the basics. Now, how these cheap stands work, they all kind of follow the same format. You've got the base, so it's one screw to undo the base, which is going to let you extend all 4 legs. The wider those legs are, the more stable the stand is. Now, it is stable, I must admit. However, the legs are all over the place, so be mindful not to trip on them. That's one thing I did found. If you extend them right out, then they come under the bike, and when you're working on the bike, trip. But that's a minor really, they're all kind of similar. Then you have the height adjustment. So again, this is between 1.65 meters and 1 meter. So you have quite a good range, and that's just another screw that's undone, it slides up and down. Then you also have the rotation as well of the clamp. So you can clamp onto the frame, the seat post. You can also rotate the bike when it's in there as well, if it's loose enough. So that can be handy if you want to point the front down or point the front up, for example. So not bad, not bad. Now they're all quite similar. It's nothing absolutely special for the money for 27 quid, but you get what you get. So that's the stand's features, that's how it works. But let's move on to my experience. So a product like this, in my opinion, is only as good as its weakest part. Now in this case, the weakest part are all the screws. Now all the screws are sort of hand screws, so to undo it, it's just by hand, and it's got a weak little bolt, and the bolt is recessed into plastic. So it doesn't take a genius to work out metal versus plastic, twisty bolts that were cheap. It's only a matter of time before you just wear the thread down and you cross thread them. They just wear out, and in 6 months time of use, about 6 months use, not using it that often, maybe once every week or every 2 weeks, all the bolts had basically gone. And obviously what happens is you're kind of twisting the bolt, it can't get the thread, so you can't tighten it up, which is then, you know, dangerous or dodgy, because you're hanging your, could be an expensive bike up there, and if it falls could cause a lot of damage, which is a shame because it's actually not too bad, but because the bolts fail, it's like I said, it's the weakest point, so it's only as good as that. But on the flip side, I guess you can kind of expect that to a degree with a £27 cheap bike maintenance stand from Amazon. Now personally, it's never actually failed on me, but I made some adjustments which has allowed me to keep using it. But one of the things I did notice is you have the adjustment to put the bike at an angle, so front up or front down. That screw is really hard to get tight when you're doing it by hand. If you want it to be tight enough so that it actually grips the bike, or the weight of the bike doesn't centralize it, then you can't really do it up. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you buy something like this, if you do buy a cheap bike maintenance stand from Amazon, look out for the reviews on the screws and the quality of the screws, because in theory, they're the ones doing the work. They're the things that are going to move the most, be undone, done up. Check the quality of those, and if they're good and people haven't had issues with them, then maybe it will be better than this one. So to summarize really, some things you buy and you pick them up and you know they're built to last. Some things you buy and you think, not sure about that. I would probably say that these cheap bike stands are on the side of not sure about that, which is certainly in my case and my example. Obviously it's only a sample of one, so it's not conclusive. It's just my experience though, and what I can tell from this product. Now, what situation or who would this suit? Now, if you're just a hobbyist and you use it every now and again, every few months, it might suffice for you. If you are using it quite regularly, like I am, when I say regularly, once or twice a week or once every week. So if you're using it that amount, then expect it to maybe give up and you'll wish you'd invested in something better. Now, if you watch my channel or any of my other videos, you will know that I like to save money on cycling equipment, on tools. I won't hide from that. It's an expensive sport. So £27 for a bike stand compared to £150, £200 for a bike stand is very, very different. Now, I wanted it to be good and I want to be able to say, yeah, all of you can spend 27 quid and what a winner, you can save yourself 100 quid. However, I honestly can't with this, and you know I like to be impartial with my reviews and I like to give both sides of the story. But with this stand, it looks like if you want a decent stand that's gonna stand the test of time, pun intended, then you're gonna have to fork out. So unfortunately, this one doesn't get the seal of approval from your boy Jordan. Hold that thought. We may have the next best thing, which is another stand. This is a Lifeline stand that I got from Wiggle. This one was £80, I think. So there will be a video coming soon on this, so subscribe if you want to see that. And hopefully this one lasts in the long term. If not, I'll have to go up to the next level and buy a more expensive one. All for the sake of these reviews. As always, peeps, take care of yourselves. Self-riding? I'm losing the pot doing too many of these videos. As always, peeps, take care of yourself, self-love, and safe riding.